Rita, how about a refill?
Okay. Jill. Honey. Hello, Jill. Dr. Rossi said you wanted to see me.
Mrs. Thomas. Dr. Rossi.
Yes, he called me. I'm glad I was in.
You must have broken the Olympic speed record getting to the phone.
Well, I was a little disappointed you didn't call me yourself. Why did you leave the Winters home, Jill?
You talked to Dr. Rossi. You know all the answers.
Oh, he didn't tell me anything except that you left the Winters. And you might still be here with Mrs. Jacks. She didn't tell me anything either.
Well, she doesn't know.
She doesn't know what?
She didn't ask any questions.
And I asked too many. That's my job. And you could make it a lot easier.
For you to take Kelly away from me.
Oh, I don't want that any more than you.
Well, leave me alone, please.
I can't.
Look, she's my baby. I'll take care of her.
How?
Any way I can.
Jill, we're strangers, really. I suppose I represent something that's kind of a threat to you. Part of the world that tells people what to do, how to live. Is that it? Part of it? If the Winters made some sort of moral judgment, I'm sorry. I asked them how they felt about you. I didn't think there'd be any problem. Jill, I'm here to help.
I don't need any help.
Well, Kelly does. And in this case...
This case, is that what you mean when you try to help somebody? The Smith case. Is that what Kelly and I are to you?
Is that how I've made you feel?
No, I mean, I don't know. I'm just tired.
Well, that's understandable. You've been holding down 2 full-time jobs. It's hard enough being a mother alone without having to earn a living, too. That's why I thought the kind of work you were doing at the church, the fact that you could have Kelly there with you, might... Jill, we have to be realistic. You won't really be able to give Kelly a home until you've had a chance to get yourself settled. You need a permanent residence, you need a regular routine, and then
Are you going to take Kelly away?
Well, I think we ought to find a foster home for her for a while. Look, you'd know where she is, be able to go and see her, and you'd know she's getting the attention that she needs. And one thing I'd like to do while we're still together is to take her over to the hospital and let Dr. Markham, the pediatrician, look her over.
I don't know.
Trust me, Jill. I'll call for an appointment. Is there a phone?
In the tavern.
Thomas? Is everything all right?
Oh, hello. This is Mrs. Thomas with Child Welfare. I wonder if you could tell me if Dr. Markman would have time to see a little girl this afternoon for a physical? Thanks.
Is Kelly sick?
Oh, no. I just thought it'd be a good idea if we took her in for checkup. Jill's agreed to let me put her in a home until we can work out something more definite. Yes. Oh, good. Thank you. Well, that's a break. We'll see you this afternoon. Maybe we can keep this day glued together yet.
I'm glad you were able to talk to her. She's a good kid.
Well, I think that when she sees that Kelly's going to be getting the kind of attention she needs, it'll be a lot easier for her to put her own life together. phone again, Mrs. Jack?
Sure. But she couldn't have gone too far.
Oh, yes, she has. One step too far.
Rod?
Stephen, why don't you sit here so Rod can see?
Which hand?
To the left hand.
I think that's great, Rod.
So do I.
Dr. Miles is very highly regarded.
I know. What's new, Stephen?
Rod, the nurse said you should get some sleep, and Rita's waiting too.
Whatever you feel, I don't blame you. I understand. I'm only hoping that you might try to forgive me.
Rod, if you're not feeling up to it.
Thanks for coming by, Stephen.
I had to see you.
Sure.
I want you to believe that.
Oh, I believe. I believe. I believe that you were afraid you might have killed me. Oh, that's a pretty frightening thought, isn't it, Stephen?
Well, I was hoping that you might.
Forgive you?
Yes. It was a coincidence of time and place, Rod. I picked Betty up at the bike shop. I drove at normal speed. It never occurred to me that the road was narrow, that it was winding, that the possibility existed that you might be coming around a corner at that same moment. Betty and I hardly spoke. I mean, we hardly spoke. I was concentrating on my driving completely. Well, there's no other way to describe it. It was an accident.
Get out.
Suggested it.
Why did you go with him?
In the car.
Yes.
He insisted.
He insisted that you go with him?
Yes.
Why didn't you say no, Betty?
It was the way he insisted. He made such a point of it. He said there was a paper he wanted the three of us to see.
He better pray I never get well.
Rod, nothing happened. Believe me, nothing happened. I don't want you to worry about this right now. I know you always think that he has something on his mind when he's talking to me or standing next to me or just looking at me. Maybe deep down he has. But this time there was nothing. Not a word. You do understand that, don't you?
Why didn't you say no?
Yes, I'll hold on. Yes, I was wondering if you've seen Reverend Winter. This is Mrs. Winter calling. Well, if you should see him, would you have him call me or have him call his home? It's very important. Yes. Thank you. Tom? Tom, is that you? Tom? Darling, thank God you're home. I was worried half to death.
I don't mean to worry you.
I didn't even go to sleep last night. Tell me what happened. Tom. Tom, what are you doing? Don't you owe me an explanation?
I had some thinking to do. I'm finished thinking now.
I guess I don't have to ask you what this means. Where's Jill? You were with her last night. Now you've come home to put on a white shirt. That's marvelous. I love symbols.
Jill's been staying with Ada Jacks. She's fine. She's all right. The baby's all right.
When you took this off last night...
Did I take it off last night?
Oh, come on, darling. When you reach out to comfort poor Jill, to give her your compassionate advice, did you make a little mistake? I mean, instead of just touching her, did you maybe grab her? I don't know what's the matter with me. I don't mean upstairs in my head or downstairs at the bar. There's just something wrong with me physically.
Susan, it's all over. You've won.
Darling, I forgive you.
Susan, you've won.
Tom, darling, look, you've been involved with another woman, and
Have
I
I?
understand, and I
Let me
forgive
buy
you.
it, please.
Tom, we've never had secrets from each other. I've always told you the truth. I've never lied to you about my drinking. Now, please. Please tell me what happened last night.
Goodbye, Susan.
Darling, I forgive you.
Preview from the continuing story of Peyton Place.
I care about you very much, but I want you to set the terms. I want you to feel free to set those terms with me.
Come on, don't bark at me, honey.
Don't call me honey.
Look, the judge looked at me and fixed child support. He didn't say anything about changing any diapers.
I learned a lot from you, Stephen. I learned how to hit back. I can be a garbage pitcher, too.